You mentioned, one of the things you're trying to do at this time is trying to get your shit together, right?
Yeah.
And you have a song in here, "Works Every Time," that feels very much about like, your relationship to substances.
Hmm.
Of course, that could be a metaphor, but it also could be quite simply what it is. This being a dark time in your life, what was that relationship like at the time with like you and substances, if you want to go into it?
I've been waiting for you all week. Don't you know this is a rotten time to not be me? I've been waiting for an hour now. What the fuck is up? I got memories to lose, man. I am in a rush.
I was doing a lot of ecstasy. I was doing a lot of blow. I was drinking a lot. This is a couple years of real and like just escapism, partying. Going out to the bar and just being like, man, I need to escape for an hour or two or five because there is no fucking escape from my life. this shit that I set up, all of this shit, I can't really figure out how to I can't think my way out of this thing that I built. You're laying some shit brick by brick around you and you're building something, and then you look up and you're like, oh, I built my own prison cell. Great. Like I wish I would have had an architect or someone consult with me before I started building this thing. I let myself just kind of indulge in escapism. But I had a conscience about it, a self-awareness about it that was very much gnawing at me. A lot of artists are sensitive motherfuckers, and drugs are really appealing because it's a result.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking result, and you can kind of rely on it. Ecstasy is going to make me feel euphoric. Cocaine is going to make me feel awake and talkative and social. Alcohol is going to fucking relax me and make me numb. All of these things for someone who comes from a family of addiction or someone who just has that tendency in them. These are all very real, not always bad. I don't think drugs are just inherently bad. I just think sadness and stress and drugs don't mix.
Mm-hmm.
And I think abuse of drugs is just a fucking really big mistake. And nobody's above getting caught in some bullshit, no matter how much you think that you are. And I never had to go to rehab or anything like that, but I did have to check myself.
Word.
I did have to fucking check myself. So I kind of wanted to look at that and write about that, because I think if you're an artist, man, not only are you more susceptible to those types of things, but if you can write about it, you probably should. You probably should write about something that's that big, because it's important, man. Like, you need to be honest with yourself. And if you're not laying it out there, if you're not okay with laying it out there for people, you may as well just fucking hang up the whole artist part of your fucking title. Just hang it up, because that's your only use. Your only fucking use, because there's plenty of people out there that are struggling.
Right.
There's just not plenty of people out there that can write about it.
That have an outlet where they can actually talk about dealing with the shit.
Right. It's a privilege.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not fucking dealing with it, then what is your point? What is your existence? Like, as an artist? I don't know. So for me, I just thought it was the most important thing to bear it, just to lay it out. I had to reckon with it. And one of the ways that I reckon with it is by writing about it.
And so the song is part of that checking yourself process that you were going through at the time?
It's a song about, it's being honest about that part of me,
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fresh start on a new world, and I already want to go home.
Yeah.
It's like you take a pill and all of a sudden you're a fucking brand new person. If you've got a conscience and you've got a self-awareness somewhere buried underneath that drug, there's a part of you that's always being like, this isn't it.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't it. It's like, God damn it. I pinned my hopes on this tonight. Tonight, I pinned my hopes on being high.
Mm.
I pinned my hopes on being euphoric. I think it's just a recognition of the fact that wasn't the solution. It
Right.
was not the solution. It's just me being honest, man. And I don't feel embarrassed by it as much as I used to, because I could write a song like that. It's like, but there's this part of me that was just so goddamn embarrassed. Just embarrassed that I even let myself indulge in that shit, and that people saw me indulging in that shit, and I was stubborn enough to fucking keep doing it for as long as I did. And everything just gets clearer when you kind of just grow up a little bit, man. And that song must have just been a part of that process, I guess. It's not like I stopped doing drugs forever.
Right.
It's not like I haven't done drugs since. It's just that my relationship with drugs has changed, and I know that there was a point in my life when I really was using them because I was miserable.
Right.
And I think that is absolutely the fucking wrong time to be using drugs.
Word.
Every time I talk, it sounds really depressing, doesn't
No.
it? Like whenever I get into these fucking like rants about it, it's just too much.
Nah, see, the reason it doesn't though is because you have so much perspective. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's because you've written the song that lays the shit out. Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it
Right.
actually gives you perspective to be like, oh yeah, like I still use drugs, but it was most fucked up at this time when I was using drugs because I was using them for the wrong fucking reasons. And now you've
Yeah.
explored it and you know
Yeah.
why. And like that's the type of shit that
Yeah.
like if you were someone who hadn't done that exploration, then this conversation would have an entirely different tone. You know what I'm saying?
I also think that the wretched, sort of lurching souls, of the world who are down need a shout out. They need to be, it's like, look, man, I'm one of you. Sometimes you need to write for them. It's not really meant to mean the same thing for people who don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Right.
And like, there's a level to it that is not for anybody who doesn't quite know what that is. And if I'm eloquent enough, the people who do know will be like, yeah, he hit that. Like he touched on that correctly. Just being honorable and doing justice to something that isn't weakness. It's not fallibility. It's not something that's incorrect. It's something that you went through.
Right.
Something that you dealt with. So.
I think the strength of it is honoring all corners of your human experience, not just the pretty ones. You know what I'm saying? Not just the curated ones.
For sure.